The Premier League is back. It's not just Premier League football, though. Our beloved West Ham make a return to Premier League football. I can't even believe I am saying that, but we are back, and today's matchday build-up preview show is with myself and Stato Matt. Before I come to you, Mr. Stato Matt, this game that West Ham play tomorrow is arguably the pick of the matches for the opening weekend, considering the way that West Ham and Man City left off last season with a 2-2 draw. Manchester City, of course, are looking to defend their title this season, whilst West Ham are bidding to be a relevant discussion for a European finish come the end of the season. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I am Anton. Who am I joined by?
Stato.
Matt, mate, Premier League football's back. How you feeling?
Weird. I think it's just because it's early this year. That doesn't feel like it should actually be playing yet. But you know what? Sat here, watched everyone else playing. It's the buzzer going. Can't wait to get back tomorrow. We missed it. It's been a boring-ish summer.
Well, has it been boring? I mean, we've been...
The last couple of weeks, the women have stepped up amazingly well, but there was a good month when, like, Euro Nation's on and literally no one cared.
Yeah. And we've got the relentless transfer speculation that's been going on around West Ham. I mean, I feel like it's been worse than ever, but at least we are actually getting bodies through the door, and quality bodies at that as well.
We've said, Moyes has said in his preview, he still wants, was it 5 more players? Yeah. And we brought in 5-6 players. I think you said before, this feels like that first year back when we first moved to London Stadium. And we had that window when it was like, I think Lanzini's probably anyone left now, but it was like Lanzini, Torre, Caleri, it was all them. But we brought Victor Moses, we brought like 11 players in. And it feels like we need, could argue it's a year too late, but we need to do it this year more than ever, especially with the new rules. 5 subs now, 9 players on the bench every week. I mean, if we'd had that last year, we'd have struggled to fill the bench a lot of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, you are joining us for something a little bit different. We're going to try our best to give you a lot of information, short, sharp preview. I'm going to try. It's brand new. It's a brand new idea, different concept. There's going to be similarities. It's going to feel a little bit similar, especially to start with. But bear with us as we toggle with this idea of giving you a preview. But first up, normally and moving forward, we will have away fans coming on. Don't worry about that. We will get them on this time round because we're just getting ourselves set up for the preview this season. We've not managed to do that this year. However, the man beside me, Statoma, is going to take on the mantle and talk to us about the opposition. So let's talk about Manchester City. Now, I don't want to go too much into the opposition, Matt, but they have come off the back of a 3-1 loss in the Community Shield against Liverpool last weekend, and they've only actually really played 2 pre-season fixtures, beating Club America 2-1 in July before recording a 1-0 victory over Bayern Munich 3 days later, but they have strengthened their squad. Over to you, Statomat.
Where do we start? I mean, players in Alvarez. They picked him up from South America, one of the big Brazilian or Argentinian teams. Actually, technically bought him in January, loaned him back, and he was the guy that scored the goals against Liverpool last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, they brought in Haaland, who will score a lot of goals. Let's be fair, he will. I know he missed an absolute sitter last week. Hopefully, he wants to continue that this week. I mean, it was irrelevant. It was the last kick of the game, pretty much. Missed an open goal, put it over the bar.
Yeah.
It looks like Man City might take a while to get used to this. Like you said, they haven't had the pre-season games to integrate in. And I think they've spent a few years playing with like basically a false number 9. But not really an out-and-out centre-forward. And if you watch the game last week against Liverpool, Haaland for Man City was making, like we would say, intelligent centre-forward runs. I remember even back, I know he was awful, but like when we had Zaza, he was making runs in behind and just no one was playing the balls into him.
Yeah.
And if you've got a guy like that, if you don't feed him, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And Haaland was making that last week. And for some reason, Man City is so used to this, having to play the tiki-taka, threading it through, being the eye of the needle, that when he was making a run in the hind, where you just, West Ham would do it, just chip the ball down, chunk for him to run onto, they didn't play it. Calvin Phillips, who reportedly went to Man City for less than David Moyes.
What West Ham offered for him, yeah.
Which I know everyone loves Twitter, loves the old phantom bids, but David Moyes admitted it himself. He said we offered more than that in January. Look, they lost Fernandinho. You said that weakened them, and they brought in Calvin Phillips, who probably won't even get in the starting lineup tomorrow. He'll probably be on the bench.
Yeah,
it just shows you the quality of their team. I mean, as injuries go, I think the only player that's out injured for them definitely is Aymeric Laporte. Chances are Stones and Foden aren't fit yet.
Maybe match fit as such, yeah.
I think because they were part of the Nations League, so they had a few extra weeks off, so they might be a few weeks behind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, from what I can see from predicted lineup, it's still a ridiculously good team.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing, though, isn't it, Matt? It's like the strength and depth that they've got is a ridiculous strength and depth, isn't it?
Here, like Edison, Walker, Diaz, Ake, Cancelo.
Yeah.
You could maybe say the weakness is Ake, and that's not even saying that he's a weak player. He's just the weakest of the 4.
Yeah.
Silva and Rodri, De Bruyne is like a midfield 3. Rodri holding Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne either side of him. De Bruyne will probably again be one of the best, if the not best midfielder in the league. Probably get the most assists. The guy is an absolute wizard. Like he just is.
Yeah.
The only hope is that it's pretty early season, like we saw against Man City against Liverpool last week. It didn't quite click, and then they reckon the front 3 is going to be Mahrez, Haaland, and Grealish.
Yeah.
On their day, it's a team that
can bang in,
beat anyone.
Goals left, right, and centre.
I can't say too much on them. It's just, but the only thing I would say to grab to devil's advocate, as I know I've probably said there, they've spent 120 million.
Yeah.
But I think they've made about 50, 60 million selling off kids.
Yeah.
I think 2 of them started for Southampton today.
Mm-hmm.
The goalkeeper and there's another player. I think they got like 30 million for them, and I've generally never heard of them.
Yeah.
Like kids, just rolling out of the academy that have played Champions football. Yep, so 15, 20 million.
Yeah, bring money
back.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the thing is, though, we did play them last year. I've not done a last time out video for you this time round because I've got lots of stuff to show you today. But last time out at the game at the London Stadium, Mark Noble's last ever game, 2-2. We went 2-0 up. I mean, it was everything was rosy until that Jack Grealish goal, went in. But it shows you that we can challenge if we need to. And I know we've strengthened, and we'll come on to West Ham in a minute. But sometimes if you take the game to the opposition, that's how you get something out of the game, and that seems to be that you put the frighteners up. The team like Man City, that is their only weakness. Yeah, that is it. You have to go at them. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I think we've done enough chat about the opposition, but before we move on, they're back. Yes, they are. Football Prizes is back. Check this prize out. They're back for another season with the West Ham network. Now, I'll try and explain to you how this works. You will be entered for the price of £3.95 for a chance to win 3 prizes. So the main prize for this week's draw, which ends on Thursday, is to win a Declan Rice signed top. However, you can be an instant winner, because 2 numbers, automatic numbers, will win the Mark Noble memorabilia and one of the home or away tops. So let me give you an example. Let's just say there's 100 tickets for sale and you choose number 62. And automatically, if Football Prizes have chosen 62, you'd be an automatic winner. And then you would enter the full competition for the full prize. What a fantastic giveaway. So make sure you check them out. I've put the link in the chat and go and purchase your tickets, all for the price of £3.95. And we all know Matt likes a shot at Football Prizes, because you just need to look at the background of his bedroom and you will see it all there. But it's time, mate. Before we talk about our beloved club, I'm going to give you a little cheeky video from a preview within a preview. If you've all been watching the channel recently, we've had Ari helping us out quite a lot. And he's very informative and gives us quite a lot of information. So Harry's done his little cheeky video giving you a preview with inside a preview. Check it out.
For West Ham's first game of the season versus Manchester City. Our opening games always seem to be very tricky, and it has continued again for this season. However, I think the opening game of the season will be the best time to play the Premier League champions. Although having an impressive pre-season with wins over Club America and Bayern Munich, the performance against rivals Liverpool was very underwhelming, to say the least. Now, I'm by no means comparing West Ham to Liverpool, but it shows that they're there for the taking. And if West Ham can put the performance in, I believe we can get a result in. I personally thought we should have got the win in our last encounter with them during a 2-2 draw on the last game of the season. And this proves we can definitely give them a game if we can get off to a good start. Now let's talk about the team sheets. Starting with City, I believe the only key player out for them is Aymeric Laporte after suffering a knee injury. But there is also plenty of other players, including the likes of Foden, Stones and Gundogan, who haven't had much of a pre-season, so their match fitness will be in question. Now moving on to West Ham, we're of course without our new signing Naif Aguerd, due to the injury that occurred against Rangers the other week. And there is also question marks over the fitness of other players such as Ogbonna and Creswell. I believe Creswell and Dawson are still in some pain from injuries that occurred the previous season, but knowing them they will play on anyways. City are likely to set up within their favoured 4-3-3 formation and give a potential Premier League debut to Erling Haaland, who in my opinion may struggle the first few months while adapting to the Premier League. A key player we should look out for in my opinion is another forward who may also look to get his Premier League campaign underway, off the bench however. That player is Argentinian striker Julian Alvarez. Moving back to West Ham now, without the signing of Kostic or any left back or wing back, and also Masuaku leaving the club on loan, I think it would be very hard to play a back 5, unless he sticks Fornals there, which Moyes has done in the past. I think it'll either be a 4-2-3-1 or 5 back, with Krez as a left-sided centre back and Fornals as the left wing back. And of course there is another potential Premier League debut as well, with our new signing Gianluca Scamacca hopeful to get on the pitch and show the fans and David Moyes what he can do. I personally don't think he will start, but he will more than likely make an appearance at one stage during the game. Now let's get on to the fun bit, where I predict what the score will be. Although many people will be thinking Haaland's going to have a field day and score a hat-trick on his debut, I don't think that will happen. I can see both West Ham and Man City both having a slow start to the Premier League campaign, and I think the opening game could be a bit of a boring one. I predict a scoreline of 0-0. Very optimistic some people would say, but it's clear throughout pre-season we have struggled creating chances and putting the ball in the back of the net. But I also think against City will be defensively solid, so 0-0 in my opinion, unless we get a lucky goal on the counter. And of course this could all go terribly wrong, so on the other hand if West Ham don't show up, it could end up being a 3-0 loss. But let's be optimistic and stick with the 0-0 draw.
Love these informative videos coming out from Harry. What do you think of what he said there, Matt? And don't give me predictions yet.
Optimistic on a 0-0. But I think he does make some really valid points. I think we saw last week Haaland, like I said, did seem to struggle a bit, whereas Alvarez sort of snuck in there and had that goal instinct. So
yeah,
I'm hoping Haaland. I'm hoping he struggles tomorrow. But after that, he's in my fantasy team. So after tomorrow, he can start scoring some goals.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, great. Thanks for that, Harry. Really good information, and people obviously in the chat really do like it. Chris Biggs Montana saying, "I love these narrative videos. Keep them coming. Don't you worry, we will." And obviously James Bong is desperate to get your weird cause your match predictions. However, to be fair to Matt, I've always found that his predictions were pretty much 50-50. It was my potential weird predictions that you need to be keeping an eye out for. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. But anyway, it's time to talk West Ham. Now, we always do the press conference. I'm going to bring it up again. I'm going to talk about it because I think me and you tried to dissect it, Matt, and I think it's clever to do that. So I'll give you a couple of things that Moyes addressed first and foremost, and that was on Man City. He says, we're playing Man City, and of course it's incredibly tough. I don't think you can focus on any one area. You have to focus on all areas. They are top class, and I think we'll see that again this season. It was one of the pluses last year that we performed better against City's, Liverpool's, Chelsea's. It was perhaps the batch of other games we need to play really well against Man City to get a result. They have the odd addition as well. However, the thing I want to talk to you about, Matt, because me and you do look into the press conference in a very, very deep manner, and also we try to dissect it to try and find out exactly what Moyes is meaning, and he goes on and talks about Scamacca, our new signing. Gianluca's only just joined us, and he's a little bit behind, so I'm not expecting him to be available this weekend. He's not played any minutes in pre-season, so it makes it difficult to put him out so soon. He is trained, but not as a regular and as consistent as a transfer. Took quite a bit off of him. We've got him. I like what I see. If you look at world football, there's a giant bundle of forwards out there. There's a couple like Haaland, Nunes, and we've moved on this summer. We've watched Gianluca for a long term. His link-up play, build-up play is very impressive. 23, young for someone to come into the Premier League. You have to be give young players time. He will give us a different dimension. The two of them, him and Antonio, at times too. So, on the basis of what he said, do you think we will see Scamacca? And I know I don't want your full predictions. I'm just intrigued to see what your thoughts are on what he said about Scamacca.
I think he'll be on the bench.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's one of them ones where if he doesn't have to use him, he won't.
Yeah.
But if we're one goal down with 10 minutes to go, I reckon he'll chuck him on.
Yeah.
Especially now with the new sub rules, bigger benches, more subs.
Yeah.
Gives you the option for something like that gamble at the end. So I think he's saving him. I think it's smart more than anything else. Because like we saw last week in the Community Shield game, that from both sides of the media, there was so much hype on both Nunes and Haaland. Like, oh, look, Nunes and Haaland, oh, yeah, it's put pressure on them. And this is invariably going to be the best team in the league, probably again. So if there's one game, if it's your first game, you don't have to play, maybe you can just make it like he's not fit. Give him a rest, don't give him that pressure, and then he can go out against a relegation battle in Nottingham Forest next week.
Yeah.
Certainly on how they played today. So it's smoke and mirrors, I think a bit of cleverness as well.
Yeah. But he does do that, though. He's done that over the years of watching his press conferences. There's been several times that he's done smoke and mirrors about particular players. I go back to Bowen against Everton. Like, we did not expect it by no means at all. And bang, he starts the game. You know, he miraculously recovers that quick and he's match fit, and bang, he starts the game, and it looked to be the right decision. So I get it, because he doesn't want to give too much away. He never does. That's the benefit now to what David Moyes has done at West Ham by keeping everything kind of under the radar. He goes on a little bit, though, and talks about Cornet. Now, he talks about Cornet as if he was about to sign. Now, obviously, we know Max Cornet did sign, but I want to address the other part. He says we want to bring in quality players. We've got lots of areas we'd like to address. Once we get it completed, it would be a lot easier to speak about. He says we lost 4 players and we have to fill the voids. But I'm going to move on and talk about the injuries. He says we've got quite a lot of concerns, but I'm not going to give you them. Ogbonna is playing this afternoon for the under 23s. He's doing really well, but he's not ready to be considered for the first team at the moment. And there is the difference. There is the difference of him telling you whether a player is available or not. Now, there are little rumours kicking about saying Antonio might not be around. He's taken a little bit of a knock. Dawson, of course, hasn't featured as much in the preseason as well, Matt. But What do you take again from that? Again, playing a bit of smoke and mirrors, giving us a little bit of information.
Again, I think Bonner, if you play, he just make up the bench. But I think you're going to see it in some ways. It's the fact that they've opened up the bench to so many players. Like, I don't for a second believe we're going to make 5 subs a game. Like, it's just not Moyes' style.
Yeah,
I think most time it'll probably be he'll still just make 3 subs, but that gives him the option of last second trying to change something up. So I think players that are like half fit will be on the bench just to make it up, and if we get absolutely desperate.
Yeah.
But he is quite more forward there in saying that, like, no, Bonner is not ready.
Yeah.
But I think we spoke about it the other day. We don't think he's going to have much of an input anyway. I think he's going to be like very much a backup sort of last choice centre back.
Yeah.
Just trying to get one more year out of his hopefully not too dodgy knee.
Yeah. I get that. But like you said, it's smoke and mirrors, mate. I do believe there's a lot of smoke and mirrors there, and I think he's trying to send us into that whirlwind of what's actually going to happen. You don't want to give too much away, because Man City may look at West Ham and go, Scamacca plays, right? We've never seen him play in the Premier League, but we know what his style of play is. We know how to set up. But then if it's not him playing and it's Antonio, it really gives Man City a problem of how to look at how West Ham are going to set up. Now, while we're talking about the midfield and forwards, it brings me nicely into a little chat that we had with young Jake Cox from West Ham Unofficial, in our new segment called Junior Hammers. Check it out.
Yes, people, it's Jake from West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. You're watching West Ham Network's match preview for West Ham versus Man City. I'm here to talk about our midfield and attacking options and who I think is going to start, who's in contention and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's to be expected that we'll have Rice and Souček as the 2 in midfield. And then it gets interesting because we'd expect Bowen to be out on the right-hand side. Of course, we've let Masuaku go, so the obvious option would be to put Fornals out on the left-hand side, although David Moyes has said that he's been experimenting with different formations and he could mix things up, potentially go to a back 5, but I don't really see we've got the players there now we've let Masuaku go, so I'd probably say it's going to be Fornals. He said Scamacca's not going to be available, whether that's a smokescreen or not, we'll have to wait and see, but we'll just go with what he said and say Scamacca's not available, which leaves Mikel Antonio to go up front. Of course, we've got Cornet and Scamacca waiting in the wings. They aren't match fit, but hopefully we can see them very, very soon. So that's our midfield and attacking options ahead of the game against Manchester City tomorrow. Quick prediction, 1-1. Antonio to score a goal. Thanks, guys, and bye-bye.
If you haven't already, make sure you do go and check out Jake's channel, the West Ham Unofficial, and give that a cheeky subscribe. Now, Jake doesn't think he is playing the smoke screen. He thinks Scamacca won't be available. He's taking it on the words of what he said. And do you agree with everything else that he's mentioned there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think Moyes alluded to he said more players in, and I think a left back will be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe if Cornet had been available, he could have maybe been tempted to try and play him at left wing back, position he has played. But it's Moyes. As we said, this is one thing that's been good since he come back in. It is just a guessing game. And if us, the fans that sit there and watch the team every week and follow all the news and all that, and we can't tell you who's going to play, what lineup's going to play, then the opposition have got absolutely no chance. Like, it can only be a good thing, because it's far too long that we both sat here and we can nail down the starting 11 to a T. And how good does it sound? All right, they can't play today, but we've got Maxwell Cornet and Gianluca Scamacca waiting in the wings to come in next week.
Yep.
It's actual options, something we haven't had. It's pace. It's an actual natural target man, link-up play. It's not just... Which always Moyes said, it's not just bodies for being bodies. That's things he always said, hasn't he? He said, I'm not going to buy someone for the sake of buying them. Yep. I want to improve the squad, improve the first team. Players that come in have got to do that. And well, unfortunately, they won't be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And maybe someone like a Fornals will have to step up. Going forward in the future, it's looking promising.
Yep. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, it's time for us to move on, though, and talk to bring in and introduce you to another segment of the preview that we're going to be doing moving forward, which is bringing an ex-West Ham player to give you their predictions. Now, this video we've done with Trevor Sinclair is a bit longer than what we planned to do. We're going to do it a little bit shorter moving forward, but we thought, you know what? While we do it, let's bring it on. So here is the Legends predictions.
All safe and well. We thought with Man City rather on the weekend. There's only one person we can get on to talk about the game and talk about West Ham's season ahead. It's the man himself, Tricky Trev, or shall I call him Vidal Sassoon? But that's just between me and Trev.
I thought he was going to say Ian Bishop.
Ian Bishop, yeah, with the long flowing heart, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, Ian Bishop, Trevor Morley, David James.
I've not got as much now as any of them. So.
Al Berkovic, they couldn't make it, so we got Trevin. How you doing, Ben? You right?
Yeah, I'm brilliant, Russ. Thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Season starts. I can't wait.
Yes, very exciting. Difficult one, obviously, for me. Sat on the fence a little bit. Two of my former teams, but what a test it is. And sometimes I think you look at City last season against Spurs. It's a good time to catch Manchester City. They've only had two pre-season games. Didn't look brilliant. Didn't look quite sharp, but didn't look the normal selves against Liverpool. I didn't think at the King Power Stadium for the Community Shield. So it might be a good time to play them. Although the reaction from the players from last week's game might tend to think another way, but you never know. But I think it's probably a good time to play Manchester City. Yeah,
you're right. It's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen the other, really, isn't it? It's whether it's a good time to play now or whether to play them after the World Cup. But you've got to play everyone twice, isn't it? So
correct.
You got to get them in. You got to get them out of the way. But in terms of Sunday, obviously you're foot in both camps.
I just want the best team to win, And you know what? Yeah. Last season's game at the end of the season,
brilliant.
It was perfect because West Ham were the better team in the first half, and they went in 2-0 up. And then Man City shown the courage, shown the teeth second half, and probably deserved to get the draw. So that's the ideal game. It's not ideal for either team, but for me, I was pleased that both. It's like two sons having a fight against each other. If one pummels the other one in the same age, you'd be like, "What a wimp!" It's like, sort yourself out. But it wasn't. Both had a right good go at each other, so I was pretty proud of both teams.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, and I suppose it's sort of, and obviously that had the whole thing around being Mark's last game at the club as well, and you had that sort of, and I think it was the right, because West Ham fans and Man City fans have a real sort of respect for one another, and you know that as well because you're obviously in the middle.
I know, obviously, West Ham's got a wealthy owner now, and it looks like that could be, improving and getting more percentage of the football club in the coming years, but I think. There is. It's not something you can put your finger on it, but there is a very similar feel about both football clubs. They've both got very loyal fans. They're obviously a team that, for the majority of their history, have been in the top division, and they seem to have the same knack of always making it difficult for themselves. So there's a lot of similarities between the clubs. Obviously, City have gone on to another level about winning trophies. But I think the fans understand that, and it's not like you can't really articulate. It's just a feeling that you respect both fans in the same kind of way.
Yeah. So you're going for the best team. Okay, so you're probably gonna go for a draw, aren't you, on Sunday? To be honest.
Well, a high scoring. I'm
high-scoring draw.
I'm actually working for City TV from the Etihad on Sunday, so I won't be at the stadium. We'll have someone down at the stadium doing the commentary, but we'll do the halftime and post game analysis. So, I'm going to be very fair. I always am when it comes to City and West Ham, but it's just very difficult for me having affiliates with both clubs to
of course.
To be honest, because sometimes if one team doesn't perform, and City didn't perform in the first half, I had to leave a little bit on and say, listen, West Ham were better. Too high, not tracking runners, out to win runners by Mark Bowen. He was brilliant. Jerry Bowen's finishing was superb. Second half, they sorted that out, and it was a really entertaining draw.
Yeah, and I imagine it's going to be, I imagine Haaland. How do you think Haaland's going to sort of adapt to the Premier League, and Man City going to adapt with Haaland because they never played with a central guy, have they?
Well, they have when Aguero's there, but listen, they'll adapt because he's got too much artillery not to. And I think they've got players in the squad that have got real good passing range. And it's just waiting for that chemistry to come around. And Pep will be putting on sessions where they're going through different passages of play and they're going through different phases of play from back to front, regain the ball in high areas of the pitch and what's the lads' reaction. Organically, they'll get it right because they're good players and they'll find a way to succeed. And that's pretty much what top players do. I was listening to Graham Souness today. He came on the breakfast show with Talk Sport, and he was saying there was one time that they got given any kind of tactics, and it was I think it was a semi-final of the Champions League, and Sammy Lee had to man mark somebody because he'd done well in the first leg, but that was the only time they ever give the boys any information about how to play against the opposition. Basically, they'd say get them out there as long as they're prepared properly, as in fit, had their hydration, had the rest, and ready to go into the game. These players are good enough to work it out themselves. And I think that's what will happen with Haaland and the team that are around him.
Yeah, and obviously that's what happened with Skamaka and West Ham as well.
Correct. Absolutely, Ross. Absolutely.
Listen, man, look,
if you get it wide and you've got a player who's 6'5" and loves attacking the ball, don't start recycling the ball and try and playing through the middle. Put the ball in the second 6-yard box, miss the first man, and let him go and attack it. And get both bodies around the edge of the box. So if he doesn't win it, he can keep it alive.
And if he doesn't win it, you've got 6'4" Thomas Souček coming in. And if he doesn't win it, then you've got Craig Dawson at 6'2".
I'm expecting big things from Thomas this year because he did have a bit of a off season when you look at his output, his goals and assists and things like that. But I think that second syndrome, players do get that second season syndrome. So I've done a little feature for TalkSport. I think it might get played on Saturday regarding, what he needs to do and why get back to where he was in his first season where he scored 10 goals and he was an absolute menace. So, they'll get that balance right, him and Declan Rice. Obviously, Flynn Downs will get a little bit of game time in some of the B games or late on in games. And I've heard really good things about him from the Swansea fans, so I'm really excited to see him. And he's an Onga boy, so it's great that he's getting back to Essex and getting back in the manor. So, he'll be really pleased. I'm sure he's
Listen, I thought that was absolutely fantastic to have someone like Trev Sinclair come on, talk to us. We're doing a lot more of that moving forward for the new season. So please let me know what you think of so far the 32 minutes of the show we've brought to you so far today. Let me know if you like the concept. Let me know if you like the idea. Please, I appreciate the feedback. We've got a lot more to get through, so we'll push on. Matt, what do you think about what Trev said? I mean, I get it. He's got his toes in the two pies. I get it. He's Manchester lad. He's played for both clubs, but he does seem to like the recruitment that West Ham have done this year.
It's Moyes has had this mantra, isn't he, that I won't buy for the sake of buying. It's probably arguably similar to what Man City do.
Yeah.
When you look at Pep buys players that match his system, or they don't match his system, he doesn't buy them. And for Moyes, it's not just about Moyes has a big list. It's do they improve the team? Do they match what we want to do? And do they have the right mentality? So and it was interesting, Trev said that, we don't always have to do the training as such in certain circumstances, that the ability will show through, which I'm sure is the way you get that understanding on the pitch. But I suppose the only benefit for us is that, like you said, they only had two pre-season games.
Yeah.
And the Community Shield, and you could see in the Community Shield that Haaland midfield connection hasn't clicked yet. So we just hope that it doesn't click tomorrow as well.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We've got a few more minutes to get through, and I've asked a couple of our international fans to get involved to let you know where they're kind of watching it from and what their kind of predictions are moving forward for the season. So let's go and have a look at our international hammers.
Good morning, West Ham fans. On the eve of our first game of the Premier League season against Manchester City, we have just completed the signing of Maxwell Cornet, which is a really, really good piece of business, I have to be honest. He's a versatile footballer, can play a number of positions. There's always a threat. established international levels, played Champions League football, so an amazing piece of business to get over the line just before our first game of the season. It's unlikely that he'll be involved. Same with Gianluca Scamacca. But listen, it's Man City at home. We know the threat that they pose. We know how good a football team they are. They've got talent all over the pitch. And yeah, it's going to be a tough game, of course. I'll be here, sunny South Africa, watching with my old man and my brother. We both also, all three of us are massive diehard West Ham fans, and we're very, very excited for the beginning of the season. In terms of the football itself, as I've said, City, different animal, fantastic team, so many players, so many match winners all over the squad. And on our side, you know, to get anything from the game will be a bonus. By the same merit, if we show up, which is something that I really hope happens, and just give a good account of ourselves, because at the end of the day, we're playing against the team that's probably going to win the Premier League this season. So any result that we get, whether it be a point or 3 points, will be a bonus. And you know what? We've got it in us to do that. Look what happened last season, 2-0 up in this fixture. Jared Bowen was an absolute animal that day. So, you know, what's to say that doesn't happen again? I just think from my side, the most important thing is that we give a good account of ourselves. You know, get the crowd behind us. They'll be buzzing to be back in the London Stadium supporting the lads. So, yeah, if we can go out there and give a good account of ourselves, there's no reason why we can't nick something. Yeah, look at players like Jared Bowen. He's going to be key. Obviously, no Scamacca, no Cornet just yet. So, Big Mick Antonio is going to have to put in a real shift up top. And hopefully he can cause the City defence some problems. At the back, we're going to have to be watertight. We're going to have to be physical. In the midfield, we're going to have to try and win, you know, the battles and break down play as much as possible. And we saw they're vulnerable on the break. So hopefully we can do the same thing we did last season and nick a few goals on the counter. We've definitely got that in our locker, and who knows what will happen. But yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. The Premier League is back. Come on, you Irons. It's
Premier League is back. West Ham are back. Been waiting for this all summer. Really excited. And what a game to start with. Home to Man City. Very, very tough start. Champions. Just unbelievable team. Quality all over the pitch. And obviously, you know, very tough game to start off with. But I think it's an exciting game to start off with. Unfortunately, it seems we may not see any of our new signings in the opening game, which is a pity. For various reasons, maybe with the exception of Areola if he starts in goal, but it doesn't really feel like a new signing because he played with us last season, but we'll see what happens. I hope he starts. Also, Scamacca may be on the bench. He should be fit enough to play some kind of role, so it would be brilliant to see him come on at some point in the second half. I imagine the crowd would really erupt. But as for the game itself, as I say, just a very difficult opener. Man City just a brilliant team. And obviously then there's Haaland, one of the most highly rated players in world football, did incredible things at Dortmund. But, you know, we've got maybe big Craig Dawson there who's going to pocket him, obviously. But it'll go a long way to helping us if we can keep Haaland scoreless tomorrow. Difficult to do, obviously, but that would really be a help. Obviously, his first Premier League game at his new club, so he'll be keen to impress. You know, he'll want to make sure he's earning his wages. Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, and look, I'm confident enough actually going into this. I think we're going to perform. We saw these same players that will take to the pitch for us against City do really well last season in some of these big games, and against City 2-2 draw. So if we can get a performance out of our players, I think we're going to give them a game. And I'm actually quite hopeful for this one. I don't think we're going to lose somehow. I think we're going to play really well. We're going to put it up to them. So I'm going for a Desmond in this one. I think this will be a 2-2 draw. Maybe this is a good time to get them opening game of the season. Hopefully, you know, they haven't hit their stride yet. and we'll be ready. We're familiar with them. Our players know what they're doing against City, been there and done that. And despite the fact we may not have any new players starting, still a very good team that we're going to put out that's done really brilliantly over the last couple of seasons. So I reckon we're going to take something from this 2-2. Come on, you Irons.
A lot of positivity kicking about, Matt. Is this us getting ourselves into a dangerous bit of territory?
No, I think it's. I think we're right to have this positivity for once. We don't get joy very often, but we've had two strong finishes. I don't know. I can't remember the last time. It was a very, very long time ago. Last time we had 3 top 8 finishes in a row. So
yeah,
pushing forward for that. We're actually doing smart business in the summer. We're spending money. We're backing the manager, but we're buying in quality players.
Yeah, 100%.
There's every right to be optimistic. I mean, regardless of the result tomorrow, because it is Man City, I still think it will be a very positive season. I think it'll be a very positive start to the season.
Yeah.
Even if we don't get anything tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this is like, in some ways, I'm kind of disappointed about the game tomorrow because, like we said, like we've brought these players in, but for whatever reasons, a lot of the players aren't actually going to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, we could end up buying like 9 new players by the end of the window, but the team we play today and the team we play on whatever the games after 1st September could be very different teams.
Yep. You're right, mate. 100%. 100%. Like I said, everyone, please keep the comments coming in and letting us know what you think of the structure of the show so far. Something a little bit different, bit of pre-recorded content mixed in with the live video. So please let us know your genuine thoughts. Now, we're going to get onto the nitty-gritty in a minute, but here is some more information about the game for tomorrow. Here's everything you need to know. So the match officials have been announced. It's Michael Oliver. What's your thoughts? I can see your smirky face in the background when that was announced.
No, it wasn't Michael Oliver. It was the VAR room.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I thought we were done with Mike Dean. I thought we got rid of Mike Dean. I was just thinking, you know what?
Love it.
The second worst position for Mike Dean after being the number 1 on the pitch is being in the VAR room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he still gets to throw his hand about. Yeah. Oliver, I don't mind. It's just Mike Dean. As soon as I saw Mike Dean, I was like, for God's sake. Yeah. Is what it is.
Right. Before we move on to your starting 11 predictions, Matt, I'm going to ask you all in the chat to start putting in your starting 11 predictions just now. But before we do that, because I'm going to get you all the time to build up in the chat your starting 11 predictions, I'm going to hand over to Matt for his official stat attack. Go on, Mr. Stato.
Right, so obviously it's the opening weekend of the season, so it's heavily opening weekend related, but we faced each other, West Ham and Man City, 3 times in the opening weekend of the season, and Man City have won all 3 of them without West Ham scoring a goal. Just to give us all a bit of confidence. The Man City's recent record against West Ham is undefeated in the last 13 games, with Man City winning 10 and drawing 3.
Oh, come on, Matt.
However, the last 3 games in all competitions between West Ham and Man City have all ended in draws at London Stadium. So we're building up. We've stopped the losses at home, and we're building into draws. So the win's got to be around the corner at some point. Positive. Negatives again. West Ham hold the most losses on the opening day of the Premier League season, standing at 14. But again, positives. Last season, we took 10 points from 12 against the top 4 at home, which of course was Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, and Chelsea. So positives. And the Moyes brought up his press conference as well. So we're building, and drew Man City. Another positive. We scored every single home game last season in the league. Every game. Which is the first time we've done it since 1926-27. So look, we do score at home. We're building on losses. We turn them into draws. It's a positive side. We're building. The win is coming. That's all I can give you. I'm trying to be positive. The stats don't read well. It's Manchester City. I'm not trying to give you as much as I can, but it's hard when the record is as poor as it is.
There you go.
Enjoy your stats, guys.
Yeah,
try and be positive.
There's your stat attack.
I'm sorry.
Stato. I get it. No, that's fine. It gives us the information, mate. That's what we're looking for. That is exactly what we're looking for. So while we're going to go through your starting 11, I've asked everyone in the chat to start doing it. So if you are watching, give us your starting 11 by putting it in the comments section below, and we will put them up as we go along. But we are going to hand you over to Matt as he moves into the screen to get his face perfectly in position for the camera to go through his starting 11. I'll be in the background giving myself and my own version of the commentary. Are you all ready for this prediction?
Right. So, obviously, we can start with the goalkeeper. I have to believe we didn't spend a record 12 million on a goalkeeper for him not to start. So, I'm going Areola. It's biggest debate we had last season, but we made the deal permanent, like 8 million going up to 11 or something. Has to start, surely. Fabianski was a bit iffy at the back end of last season.
Yeah.
He's been reliable for many years. I just think he's maybe 36 going on 37 now. I think maybe time and Mother Nature are finally catching up to Fabianski. And maybe it's time for him to do a year as the backup, like the old nurturing, looking down on the younger player.
Yeah. Do you think, though, that there's an element of the long-term contract that Areola signed up to, considering, and also with the contract that Fabianski signed, that there's going to be kind of like a handing over the candle, like handing over the baton to the player, so there'll be a gradual progression of moving forward?
I mean, it's Moyes, so it's not inconceivable. It's not inconceivable that Fabianski starts as the league and Areola does the cup again. But for me personally, I think if Areola is it, there's no point now. He's had a year of integrating into the team. He's had 2 years adjusted to the league with a year at Fulham before us. It's not like he needs to adjust. It's not like he needs time to blend in or anything. So that's why I'm like, he's got to start now because he is the future. He is the next. I think he's probably at that sort of age that we signed now, that we're around roughly when we got Fabianski, maybe a few years younger. So he needs to be there for me. I'll jump through the comments. Jones saying Areola, yes, but I still think Moyes will pick Fabianski. Garino says Areola as goalkeeper.
should be Areola, will be Fab from the Committee of Small Garden Birds and Voles. James Bong says King Fabs will from goal for sure. David Brooks says, do you guys think City will only be playing 2-3 pre-season games will be to our advantage? Quite possibly, David, as well. Garino was saying has to be Areola if we intend to counter-attack. His distribution is much better. Right, move into the defence, Matt, and your formation.
Right, so I'm going to go with the back four.
Yep.
Purely because of the players available. I think if we got Cornet done earlier on Friday, if we'd had him beaten by the 12 p.m. midday lunch time deadline, he may have gone straight to a back five and maybe tried Cornet there because of the pace he has, but didn't get it done in time. And obviously, thankfully, Masuaku's out the door, so he just can't be played.
Yep.
So no, he's got to be a back four. So centre backs, kind of is and isn't hard to pick. You know, our defensive defenders we seem to be struggling recently with defenders. So the first name on the team sheet will always be at the moment when he's fit is Zuma. So we're going to chuck Zuma straight in. Now, obviously, long term, I'm assuming the plan is to make Zuma alongside Aguerd, but we believe the rumours he won't be fit again till the World Cup, which means we may not see him in a West Ham shirt till Boxing Day, which is why the club are going back in for more centre backs. Does question where Diop is if they're not thinking that we've got to look for another one. I think it'll be Dawson. I know he's had a knock. I know, but he had a knock for like the entire last season and rarely let anyone down.
And he's there again, and he just keeps carrying on playing through it, doesn't he?
He does, and he was sort of protected over pre-season, and I think that's probably because they were like, Aguerd's injured, we're going to need him. Diop seems to be half out the door. I think Moyes has decided he doesn't want to keep him. Don't know, he doesn't like him. Maybe Diop's upset. I think if they get another defender in, Diop will go, so I can't imagine he'll play him in the meantime. So Dawson, Zuma for a back two. Left back will have to be Creswell. But I suppose for argument's sake, you could make the argument that maybe he plays Johnson. But for me, we work better when we have a natural left footer on the left-hand side. So I would say Creswell until we can bring another left back in. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's one of Moyes' four more he wants to bring in, another left back. And to finish off the back four, I'm going to go Soufal. He's looked a lot better and a lot fitter in pre-season. He did the back end of last year after his hernia operation, where he seemed to be like rushed back too soon. Maybe the ones where we're desperate for defenders. So it was like, as soon as you're like old Sam Allardyce style, you've had the injury, you've had the surgery, get back in the team. But I think full pre-season, he's going to be better again this year. So hopefully he's going to step up.
Yeah, I do agree with you though. Before you do that though, Matt, I do agree with you on, there could be a couple of changes there in terms of Ben Johnson, because I think Moyes likes him and I think he can cover several different positions. So that does give us an option. However, I probably do agree with you that this probably will be our back four. But I'll talk to you about what change I would make moving forward. But let's go into your midfield.
Holding two quite literally pick themselves.
Yeah.
The captain now. It's not acting captain, it is the captain, Declan Rice. Alongside Souček, who, even Trevor Sinclair said thinks he's going to have a better season. So
I completely concur with Trevor Sinclair.
Who am I to disagree with Trevor Sinclair?
Yeah. And just to kind of touch ever so slightly on the Tommy Souček situation, going back to the training camp at St Andrews when we were there, we were talking a lot to the coaches, and they literally were just saying, don't believe the hype with regards to Tommy Souček. Now, I've always said it, I'll say it again, every player's for sale at West Ham because the price is always right and someone will always accept something if it's a ridiculous cost. But it's ridiculous to even suggest that Tommy Souček is going out the door for what he does for our club, whether or not you think that last season was great or not for him. He still did a lot of work for us, and I think this is the year that we're really going to see him flourish again. And I do concur with what Tricky Trev said about him, about progressing forward and how West Ham can utilise him there. So, yeah, definitely an exciting season for Tommy Soucek. Right, on you go, mate.
Going into the midfield, down the middle, I'm going to go for Lanzini, which, if we'd have gone back to this time last year, I wouldn't have even considered.
Yeah.
I think the way he came back into the team last year, like really found his fitness again, his physicality, his ball playing ability. Obviously moved off the wing back into a number 10 position. Really suited his game. And as we've seen before last season as well, it does even open up the opportunity of, at times, Lanzini dropping deeper and letting Soucek make them runs. You know, we've seen Lanzini play in that position alongside Rice. So, for me, at the moment, the way we play and the intelligence he has, I think he's the best one to play at number 10. Alongside him, right wing, there's only one person. There is only one man, Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
His name is probably second on the team sheet behind Declan Rice at this current time. And that is probably reflective of his status within the squad. You know, he's a man that apparently is going to be due a contract at the end of the transfer window. I don't know, is that a case of what money we got left to give it all to him? That's the point he's getting towards. Again, tore Man City apart this game. Wasn't even that long ago, it seems now, only a few months back. Last time game of the season, we got 2 goals. Probably could have had 3. It's just exciting when you see him on the ball, his transition, his ability to carry the ball, the way we play on the counter-attack. Fantastic player. Left-hand side is maybe where the controversy comes.
Yeah, I think this will be.
I've picked, because of the team we're playing, and because of the fact it's still Creswell, I've gone for Pablo Fornals. Not necessarily because of his attacking output, although I do like him as an attacking player. I think it's more for me of his defensive output. I think had we signed a left back by now that was more mobile, then I possibly would have picked Benrahma. Although, I mean, to be completely honest, had we signed Cornet earlier, Cornet would be there.
Yeah.
Had Cornet signed by midday and been available to play, he would be straight in that team at that left mid position.
Yep.
And I think even though Fornals is there this week, I don't expect to see Fornals there next week.
Just a quick before you move on, Gary's saying I just feel like Lanzini goes missing. Advocated selling him in this window before he goes out of form for another season and a half. What do you think, Matt?
I was at that position last year. I was at the same position that Gary's saying now I was at last year. I thought he goes missing too much. He does have an impact on the play, but the way he came back into the team last season, I mean, yes, look, he's not as consistent as he once was, and maybe that's a position. I think that is a position Moyes is looking at. He does want a new number 10, like a centre attacking mid in. But for me, Benrahma probably moves more over the pitch. Benrahma's probably more mobile, more fluid, but Benrahma doesn't retain possession enough. Lanzini's ability to retain the ball, for me, at least based on the form Benrahma was in last season, Lanzini's ability was a lot higher. Like, he retained the ball a lot more, could dictate play sitting back. He could still see a pass. And he has the old banger on him as well. You know, he still pulls the old one to go out. So that's why I've stuck in there. But again, look, at the moment, it's a case of for tomorrow, you've got Fornals, Lanzini, and Benrahma. And it's which one do you want to fit in, which one don't we want to fit in?
Yeah.
I mean, you could flip the world on its head and drop Lanzini entirely, put Soucek in there, and put Flynn Downs alongside Declan Rice.
Yeah, gives us an option.
And almost goes like a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
And play Soucek in the Fellaini role. But this is the problem. No one knows Moyes. No one's in Moyes' head. No one knows what Moyes is going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, finally, it's the centre forward, which for me will be Antonio.
Yeah. So you don't think that you don't think? I mean, I'm trying to think. Actually, see, Relaxed Rhino has actually put his team in, saying Areola, Johnson, Zuma, Ogbonna, Safal. Well, Ogbonna won't play. Safal, Rice, Soucek, Fornals, Antonio, Bowen, and Scamacca. I know Moyes said Scamacca ain't fit, but I reckon he'll play. I think he'll be involved, definitely. I do agree with that sentiment. But I'm not sure that he will start the game. Howard Ailes is saying Areola, Johnson, Dawson, Zuma, Sufal, Rice, Souček, Fornals, Benny, Bowen, and Antonio. Now, I had just put a little cheeky change in because I thought personally that maybe he would have looked at putting Benny in the team with Fabianski, and this would be my team minus the 2 players that you mentioned, which was Areola and Pablo. However, you've kind of sold me on Pablo because of the fact that he helps that left-hand side maybe, a lot more than what Benrahma would do. So maybe it is the likes of that, Matt, as well. So there's Matt's final 11 for the game against Man City. What do you think? Leave your comments in there and let us know. I've got more to jump through as well. Where are we? Lawrence is saying Areola, Sofao, Zuma, Dawson, Johnson, Rice, Souček, Fornals, Bowen, Lanzini, and Antonio. Lawrence is saying Benny on the bench. Where are we? I get where you're coming from, Stato. I don't hate him. Tyler's saying Lanzini always likes a goal against Manchester City. I've got a few more comments to get through. However, before we continue, I am going to ask you now to start putting in your predictions ahead of the game tomorrow. So put in the comment section your score predictions as we go through the Marseille. Jonas saying Man City will terrorise our left side. Acid Joke has said Fornals and Lanzini make us very slow going forward. I try Vlasic at number 10 or Souček with Downs or Coventry. What do you think of that?
Well, obviously I did say about Souček. I really want Vlasic to get a run at the number 10 position. I think pre-season he's actually looked a lot fitter. He looks a lot sharper. He's looked like he maybe dropped a bit of weight or something. Maybe got him with fitness coaches over the summer. Like, he looks more belonging part of the squad now than he did when he came in last year. Like, he's clicked more, he understands his role more. He's up to speed on what Moyes wants from stamina-wise. And he does feel, for me, that number 10 role the best. His ability to drop into spaces between the lines, pick the ball up and turn and run and create stuff. But just for whatever reason, he just doesn't seem to be Moyes' thing. Moyes, it's like he had one season and Moyes decided he wasn't good enough.
Yeah,
it looks like he might be half out the door. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be up against it. I wouldn't at all. But I just don't think Moyes is. Vlasic is a new Crowd. Crowd didn't exist after like 2 games last season. It seems like Vlasic is now taking his spot.
This is an interesting point here from Guarino. Got a hunch Downs will start with Rice and Souček to crowd out the midfield and nullify them, then bring on some more creative players in the last 20. It's a good shout.
Well, I said, didn't I? You could maybe play Souček as the top of that diamond, the top of that triangle in the midfield, as the guy to get up and support Antonio. And then you could put crosses in from deep. And so, yeah, you could play a flat midfield 5. Put the 3 of them in there. Rice in the middle with Downs and Souček either side of him.
Yeah.
It could work. And like we said, Moyes apparently been trying out other things, different styles. So, yeah, if Moyes decides he wants to try and nullify rather than attack to begin with, he might play all 3 of them.
And he will, and absolutely.
The fact we have the option is just something to be actually happy about.
Yep. Absolutely, mate. Right, let's get on to the nitty-gritty, mate. Give me your predictions for the game tomorrow. Now, if you are watching, we will be live with a match day live. Now, unfortunately, I am not going to the game tomorrow. Matt, you are, of course. Thanks to the new system that West Ham have created, I've forwarded my ticket to a friend. So you'll be taking my seat tomorrow. But I am devastated I can't come to the game tomorrow, but I will be down. Don't you worry about that. But Matt, we will be going live for the match day live tomorrow, so make sure you do come and check us out. We do have a match day morning also in the morning, where Russ will be going live outside the stadium. So again, come and check us out for that. But over to you, Stato Matt. What's your predictions for the game tomorrow?
I'm a bit annoyed because Irish Tommy took my prediction.
Desmond.
Going for Desmond. Yeah, I think it will be the same score we had back in May. I know Harry said a 0-0, but I think both. I think we probably aren't at the point of our pre-season yet, where we could comfortably sit back and hold out a 0-0. I think we'll have to go and get some goals.
Yeah.
And we rarely. I can't remember the last time we shut out a Man City team. So Matt trying to shut out and go for a 0-0 just doesn't work. We need goals.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to fight fire with fire like we did back in May. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the same score, 2-2.
2-2. Well, I'm gonna go. Are you ready for this one, mate? 2-1 West Ham.
Going for the win.
2-1 West Ham. I'm gonna start as I left last season in a positive mindset. And the funny thing is, I don't think we'll see any of our new signings starting. However, I do think we'll see them coming off the bench and doing a job for West Ham when we need them to do a job. So there you go. There's my prediction. Lawrence is saying 5-1 West Ham, and of course, rest in peace to Peach. A good friend of the channel who unfortunately passed away several weeks ago. Relax Rhino 1-0. City have played 3 preseason matches, and I think we can capitalise. The Pablo saying 1-0 West Ham. Anthony Jones says Suchek and Sofao. 40 is saying 2-all. Desmond Pica says Dawson 2, City 0. Pat Holland is saying would be interesting to see what the lineup would be if all the new lads will be available. And I think we'll see that over the coming weeks. So that will make an interesting video as well. After watching Fulham terrify Liverpool, anything is possible. West Ham 2, City 1 from Acid Joke. I agree with you, mate. Pat Holland, the same 1. All Danny Broadsword says, don't know why we played 3-5-2 last week versus Lens in preparation for City and then change it a week later. I just don't take pre-season in all seriousness as serious as what other people do.
Did Masuaku play that game, did he not?
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting is we didn't really. I thought we would have started the game with the team that we would have played, and that's not happened. So definitely don't do that. Martin is saying 1H. Garino says play Dawson up front, West Ham clip style. Absolutely. Stephen McDonald's in the house. He must be a Celtic fan. Charles Lee says 1-0. Bowen to score. Scott is saying Areola needs to start and West Ham win. Tyler is saying I see 2-1 City. I'm afraid, hope they prove me wrong, as do I. Picard says Antonio hat-trick will save my Premier League weekend. Could you imagine Antonio hits the ground running in the game tomorrow and keeps Skamaka out of the side? Because I tell you what, Matt, that's what we want. If Skamaka's not starting the game tomorrow, we want Antonio to hit the ground running. No fan should wish that get Skamaka on that park. It should be keep Skamaka off the park, because you've got to give that. Well, we won't, obviously, because if he did bang, he would get some game time, but you want Antonio to succeed as well. Howard is saying Bowen brace the Brittany, gets one back, and then Skamaka off the bench to seal it 3-1 to the mighty West Ham. Joan 2-1 us, who's our penalty taker. I think eventually, well, I don't know, Deckers maybe, is it? Lanzini, yeah.
I think Cornet. I was going to say Cornet takes penalties.
So does Skamaka.
But then I distinctly remember a penalty against us.
Against us, yeah.
When he missed,
honestly,
he missed on the post.
Yeah. Honestly, just hoping for a point and no injuries. Anyone nervous as hell? Skamaka would be, I think. James Bong's in the house. Mandy G's in the house. Good to see you. Gary says he's not nervous. It's Man City. Anything can happen on a day. But the odds are against us. I'll be happy with taking a point. I'm predicting a Desmond. 1 West Ham, Bowen to score. Anthony Jones says win 2-0 or 2 each. Richard says go all out for the win, rather no points than play for a point at this stage of the season. Charles is saying West Ham win, Bowen to score. Haaland is going to rip us to shreds. Ahmad Jamil is 3-1 West Ham. City, sorry. Areola starts, we win 1-0. Scott. James Bong says 4-0 West Ham. West Ham are massive. Let's hope we don't. Fabs equals 4-0 loss. Oh, come on, Scott. Lee Doran says 2-1 West Ham. Good evening, Ludders. Exactly, Anton. Finally, completion for Antonio. Set pieces could be massive. 3 each. Mandy G says 1 each with Jared Bowen scoring. There you go. There is our 1 hour and 10 minute preview that I said to Matt would be a lot shorter, and it just doesn't happen because we can't stop bloody talking. That's exactly what happens. Before I go, though, Matt, who is the player we need to watch or fear from Man City?
I'll go De Bruyne.
Yeah, I think
because I feel like if Haaland might take a while to adjust, but I think if Haaland's gonna have a good game tomorrow, Haaland's going to score the goals. I think it's going to be because of De Bruyne. So yeah,
who's the player they should fear the most from us?
I'm going to go Suchek.
Yes!
I'm going to back Trev.
That's what I was going to say. That's my man. My man.
I'm going to back Trev. Yeah, we'll go Suchek.
Yeah, good. You've changed your tune, no? You've bloody changed your tune from the WhatsApp group from a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to digress. If you are new around here, please subscribe to the channel. Of course, please. We're coming to the end of the show. Please give me your feedback on the structure of the show. Do you like it? Or would you rather less of the pre-recorded videos and us just to go live through the whole stuff? Please give me the feedback because then it means I can plan for the next week and give you exactly what you're looking for. So I really would appreciate feedback on tonight's preview. It really does help us out and would also help me out with, guiding us with what you want. It's just trying something a bit different as well. What works, what doesn't work, please let us know. And like I said, join us tomorrow morning, Matchday Live from outside of the stadium, where we'll have probably a bit more information on the lead up to the game and again for the Matchday Live tomorrow. Matt, any last words?
It's Claret and Blue Day tomorrow.
Yes.
So everyone make sure you're in your Claret shirts.
Absolutely. Get behind the team. Subscribe, like, comment. Take it easy. Get behind West Ham. Come on, you Irons. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.
Mm-hmm.